What's up, guys? Here with another video. In this video, I'll be talking about the NBA, right? In general, why has the NBA has become a joke now? And honestly, because the NBA is becoming, a laughing stock, a lot of people have tuned out, recently, right? I think let's go over the NBA history. I think back in the past, the NBA was much better than today's modern, NBA, right? For obviously, for big reasons and many reasons, right? I may miss out some, but the obvious one I did not forget, right? So yeah, back in the Michael Jordan's era, it was a lot more competitive, right? Comparing to this era, right? So yeah, this era is weak and soft, and I think we have different commissioner, ever since David Stern left, and Larry O'Brien. Yeah, Larry O'Brien probably came before David Stern, and ever since David Stern left, Adam Silver just take over the league, and he has not been a really good commissioner, right? And yeah, the NBA is becoming more boring now, and all these players are becoming more pathetic, right? So just talking about this made me feel disgusted, and I feel like most of these players do not deserve to be in the league, honestly. And they should not, they do deserve to be in the league, but they should not be paid this much, right? So yeah, and I just started to notice at least 10 years ago, I see a lot of people tune out of basketball already, right? I didn't know exactly why. I didn't watch much basketball, but now I watch more YouTube. I watch more people pointing out the problem with NBA and all stuff, and when I hear all these stuff, then this is why a lot of people are not interested in this basketball season, right? So yeah, so here are the biggest reason, why, the NBA, is not as popular as it should be, right? Or now, the view is drastically, dropping, right? And it's not as fun as it used to be, right? Obviously, because NBA got into, politics, right? So much, politic problem and all stuff, and so much, narratives and lies. This is why, you got all these, small channels, their voices and their comment, people still ignore, right? ESPN, something like that. But I feel like, the whole NBA world, some real NBA fan, they do take the comment seriously, and some they still ignore it. And I don't know why. But yeah, it will become more serious as, things start to spread around, and hopefully the NBA becomes better, right? They need to stop all this lie and narrative, right? And stop making, way off prediction, right? I know that they always make prediction. They always say this. They always say that. They need to stop making, narratives and start telling the truth, right? Because when you tell the truth, it sets you free, right? And the truth hurt, but people's feelings just get hurt really easily these days. This is why you go to every video on YouTube, you're not going to see a dislike. You're not. Unless if you're the YouTube owner of this channel, you'll see how many dislikes you get. But the other people cannot see it because people are just becoming more sensitive now, right? And why ESPN and, and other analysts are lying, right? The reason why they keep coming out with narratives and lies because they've been bought and paid for, right? So money talks, but unfortunately the rich and the poor gap gets bigger. Obviously, because the rich just use money to buy even more power, and the margins keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that is a serious problem, right? The way, the NBA has been run, I think back in the old day, they were they have a lot more integrity, but integrity has dropped dramatically just because of money and all the fame, right? So Yeah, I know it's hard to explain, but I think that's what Ticket TV just keeps mentioning, like why these, networks and people keep lying, right, and not telling the truth. There, there's two biggest reasons, the money, and also, they're too scared to, you know, to say the truth, right? They're too scared. So that way, no one's feeling gets hurt. So, yeah, I just, it's just, seems, yeah, and also, yeah, the narratives and the lies has to stop, right? And also, like the NBA has become a players' league. Why I say that? Because players just do whatever they want. Like they get paid like millions of dollars just to just to act like professional, and they don't act even professional. I mean, back in the old day, the players, they were having all that fun and stuff, and they can handle lots of trash talking, right? But now, in this modern time, like they go comment and they have social media. I mean, players back in the old day, they deal with, much tougher, environment. They were like racist slur and all that stuff. It was much more toxic. But now here, like just small comment already, get players really upset and they talk down on us, right? And like we're just nothing, right? So that's another thing. And also, a lot of NBA players have been, faking injury, they just low management and they don't want to play all 82 games. They suggest to Adam Silver, like, please reduce the number of games they can play, per season. It's just ridiculous, right? Back in the old day, players played back-to-back, but now, and on back-to-back, like, people have to rest, right? I'm like, they're more... And the ESPN lie again, like I said again, they say that the players were much bigger and stronger, comparing, to this era. It's not true, How are you bigger and stronger, if you can't play as many games as you did before, right? That to me looks weaker, and they have like this professional doctor, like they have all this money, just to take care of themselves, right? And they spend like literally, like, and they don't perform, and they don't want to show up for the fans. And that's a real big issue right there. I talk about, the All-Star, right? You know who the perfect example I talk about, like Kawhi Leonard, right? I mean, he's been sitting out for so many games and he's just, ripping off. Or Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is way worse than Kawhi Leonard. Right? Faking his injury, sit out games and just do nothing. And players don't want to, play this and that. I feel like these professional athletes compared to us, I have to make comparison because this is just so unfair. They get paid, way like infinity. Like they get paid like so much more than us, like infinity times more than us. Like they get paid millions, and we get paid like barely like anything. Lift a paycheck. Like their paycheck is so gigantic. Like they can just live off, happily ever, right? Like they become like freaking millionaires, and just like they have to work hard for like just a few days in a week. It's already complaining. Wow, some people have to work like 24/7 and they get hardly like anything, right? They're just barely living paycheck to paycheck, right? That's what I'm saying, I feel like these players are just much more lazier in this era, and this is why the standard has been lowered, right? So, yeah, and because of the way the players been performed, this is why we've been seeing a lot more, blowouts lately, right? So, yeah. People are sick and tired of low management. Just imagine, you go to a game, right? You pay your hard-earned money to pay for tickets to see someone play, and they didn't show up, and what's the point of going there? Like, and then, you feel you're so upset. You feel like you want a refund or something. I mean, you should ask NBA for a refund, if this continues to happen, right? I'm like, I I think I went to some NBA game like one time, it was like back in 2016, the Mavericks versus the Warriors, right? I mean, player shows up, right? Imagine, I went there with just this one time, man. Just experience how it is, and then, there's nobody show up on the court, just a whole bunch of, no-namers. You see what I'm talking about? Right? Imagine that, then how would I feel? Not so happy, right? And now, I care a lot less than the game, It makes me like, I don't want to watch TV anymore. I just want to look at the live score, right? If the player just do dirty to us, then we're not going to... If they don't care much about the game, then we should not care too, right? So, yeah. Yeah, and so that seems fair to us, right? So, yeah, man. I see players back in the old day, like, they play with injuries, right? I know that why I love Kobe Bryant a lot, right? Because he played for a love game. Like, even if he's... See, like, a lot of players are not 100%. They still play through it, right? But these players, they're, like, 100% and they have to sit out. They have to complain. Just a little pain, man. Just have to complain. Right? Yeah, players just been complaining, like, injuries here and there. And I've shared this one funniest tweet from, LeBron James, right? The one that nobody respects, right? No real man respects. LeBron James has to complain, he has to, from a flight from, here, to Milwaukee, where he can go there in a matter of a few hours. Are you serious, man? You complain you have to fly over there? Everybody does that, right? Come on, man. Even regular casual, like, they can sit in the flight for like a few hours and it doesn't even bother them. And this bothers LeBron James, saying, like, much more, luxury, have a much more luxury life. Bruh, man. Oh my gosh. Not good. Not good. And he should not be considered a king. That already, take out the GOAT conversation, right? And I know why the league has become a lot more boring, because players just keeps complaining all the time, Yeah, like I said, like, they want max contract and all that stuff, and they still, low match, and they still complain. They get more money, they still get paid a lot more money than, the ones in the past, and they play less game. Like, everything, is lower to them, and they still complain. I'm like, this absolutely makes no sense, right? And somebody needs to, higher the standard, right? So, yeah, and also, the NBA, let's say, I think there's another big reason, like, why the NBA has gone a lot worse is because the way, the ref officiates the game, right? Some team get more fouls than others, in an unfair way. Like, just like touching them, like, you already, have to go free throw line, right? Some teams, literally cannot win games, so they have to make a free throw per raid, Especially, LeBron James, like, I heard that LeBron James has to get like 500 plus free throws, and watching just free throw after free throw after free throw after, like, soft touch, it's just boring. It just wastes a lot of people's time and stuff. Instead of the game ending like 2 or 3 hours, maybe extend for like next 30 to like minutes or a few minutes, and it's just wasting a lot of people's time, watching these boring free throw contests, right? And players just play for stats, and they don't play for the love of the game. Like, they just seem they don't care. They only care about themselves, I'm talking about LeBron James and other players, right? The superstar, like, they get like superstar treatment, and they just take advantage of it. Like, take really abusive advantage. And yes, so Yeah, but fans are tired of this, man. NBA real fans are tired of this, right? So yeah, the league has joked, and also lots of players get into allegation stuff, get into a lot of trouble stuff. And I remember a couple years ago, no, as little as like last year, as recording this video, Ja Morant, pulling out a gun on Instagram. These players, toxic behavior now go leak in the NBA, and these fans that are looking up to them, especially the young ones, now, this generation is, I think my generation and the younger generation are probably get cooked, and they're probably totally ruined because the way the NBA has been run, of soft, childish. Back in the old day, like 30 plus years ago, like everyone was a full grown man, but now, they have like children running around, complaining and all stuff. And then they've been looked up as a role model, and yeah, this is a serious issue because now our generation has probably got ruined because of these, stupid full clowns, the way they represent themselves, right? They wear dresses, they wear purses. Like, they look all funny and goofy, man. Just to get some attention or something like that, right? So this is why a lot of people cannot stand against LeBron James, because all he wants is attention, right? All he wants is play with his son. Now is even more pathetic because his son should not be in the league, right? And there are people, that are playing basketball on the street that can cook Bronny James. And I have to talk about Bronny James, this guy totally suck. He has not made a single basket, in the preseason. I don't care preseason now, he has not made a single basket. Well, except, for that one layup, where nobody played defense on him. But still, nobody played defense and he still, break the shots. Like, the only reason why Bronny is in the league is because of his, narcissist, father, right? LeBron James, I feel really sorry and bad for this guy. He has to go through all this criticism because of his father, right? Imagine me, a father do this to me. Like, I would be really pissed and I would be really stressed out. Maybe this is why Bronny suffered a cardiac arrest, because of his father. Most likely, right? His father's not even care for his family. All he does is, just, play LeBron James, right? I talk about LeBron James. He just play, like long extended career, and just get Hall of Fame and money. He just want to get famous, do achievement that nobody ever done. I mean, these achievements are lame. Like, you play with your son in the NBA. He said he played so long that now, his son get drafted in the NBA. And his son doesn't even look that interested. If Bronny gets worse, that means he has no interest in the NBA, right? I'm like, there are like street ballers that can cook him, and there are even women that are better than him. There are people that are not qualified in NBA, and they get the NBA roster spot. And all the players that deserve to be in the NBA, they get cut out. It's just plain ridiculous. And the 55th overall pick, LeBron James. Why do I have to talk about the pick? It matters because, when you say the 50th pick, that means that you have to be like top 50 in the world in order to be in the NBA. He's nowhere near it, man. He's nowhere near it. All his shots are break after break after break. And he makes more turnover than his points, so yeah, NBA just seems a little so unfair, like LeBron is taking full opportunity out of someone else, that really deserve a roster spot, that dedicated and that worked their freaking butt off just to get in that freaking NBA, and then just this the guy that doesn't deserve to be there, he took that spot. Imagine this guy. Imagine that guy had to do nothing, like almost nothing, just to get that spot, and that guy had to work his life off, his entire life just to earn that roster spot. It doesn't seem right to me, man. That's just so messed up. And this is why people are speaking about this, man. Whoever speak about this, I'm really proud of you, especially, like Ticket TV, right? He feel like his heart got ripped off, man. Yeah, I feel for this guy. He just went through a lot of stress just because he overheard what happened, right? Yeah, like, if you're not going to contribute to the league, just get out, man. Fans want to see real competitive. Fans want to see real ballers, right? Not just, things like, oh, you look so disinterested, like you shouldn't be there, right? You only show up to work if you're interested and if you're willing, to put in the work, right? Bronny doesn't seem interested at all, right? But I know that his brothers are much better. I don't know how good his younger brother is. I mean, I don't follow LeBron James, specific reason, just because I need to take care of myself and just because, I have no interest, following that clown, right? So, yeah, I mean, and also, because players are playing so lazy, like, the stats and, the offense rating, they seem inflated, right? So, yeah, I know that the score was much lower, back in the past, but now, like, scores are inflated like crazy just because people don't play defense, right? I'm like, and also a lot more, less physical contact. This is why LeBron's era is so weak, because lack of defense, lack of physical, right? The score, I mean, getting it to 100 is like really hard, back in the old days. But now you go to this modern era, like you see 120 point, on a day-to-day basis. Some team allow like over 120 points per game, which just seems normal to them. I'm like, soon, scores gonna get inflated, like crazy, just because people play no defense. And then, the NBA All-Star, it gets really lame, the dunk contest, the 3-point. I'd say that every part of the NBA All-Star is just getting more lame. Players do not want to play a love game, they just played out there for fun. It's so goddamn pathetic, and it's embarrassing that these guys, they don't want to play a single effort on defense, and they just drop 200 points in just less than 48 minutes. That's like every possession, per minute. Like at least 1 or 2 possession per minute, right? And just jack up all these 3 points. I think Steph Curry also ruined the NBA. I almost forgot to mention this, but good thing I mentioned this video. I heard that part of the reason Steph Curry did not ruin the entire NBA, but he's part of the reason because of the 3-point, right? People don't want to see 3-point. They want to see like more, like into the paint and all that stuff, right? Yeah, just jacking up 3-point like everywhere, it just ruins the NBA, right? I get it. Like a lot of people want to shoot 3 so they can like score much higher and make faster comebacks. But in the NBA playoff, it doesn't work that way, You live by 3, you die by 3, right? It just makes you look stupider that way. And also, less physical contact. I get like shooting 3 is kind of hard because now you have to shoot outside the line. And I heard that, like a few months or like a couple years ago, I heard that they're going to make a 4-point line. And, oh my gosh, man. I'm like, really, man? If people don't like to see like chugging up 3-point all the time and you're making a 4-point, you're just making the league even worse, right? Now, players are going to practice 4-point. I don't know how big 4-point are, but maybe like 30 feet away from the goal or something like that. Or a half court. NBA's been ruined because now they have, the play-in tournament, the end-season tournament. Like all these little, bonuses, I get like some people may like it, but in my opinion, in other people's opinion, I just hear from like many opinion, and just based on my opinion, I don't like it at all because, yeah, back in the old days, players, they don't have to play, these type of regulation, and they are totally okay with it, right? So why you have to make all these in-season tournament? This is what LeBron has brought to the basketball, right? All that flopping, all that, lame in-season tournament, all that, play-in tournament, all that lame things, But yeah, teams have went through a lot in the regular season. I get like some teams don't deserve to be a playoff, and some they do deserve to be, in the playoff, right? Just playing more games, just for no realistic reason, right? So, yeah, giving, the team that barely making the playoff, like giving them a chance, to really get eliminated, the ones that really work hard, the ones that, that doesn't deserve to be there, right? I get, the matchup matters a lot, It just seems unfair because some teams, they don't match up well against, other team, right? Especially, whether they're close in the ranking of the East versus West or not, right? So I can see, why in-season tournament, playing tournament is, seems to be lame, right? Just because, I know that LeBron's barely making it to the playoff, right? And also, like player making excuses, all stuff, like player had too much power over the league. I feel like a lot of coaches are getting fired. It's legitimately, I say that most of the time it's not their fault because it's the players' fault. They don't want to take accountability. Like they have more power over coaches, right? I mean, the coach can do so much, right? The coach want them to practice, want them to do this, but the players, it's not the coach's job, to control what the player needs to do. It's only telling them and guiding them, what they should work on to be better. And all these work is up to the professional players, right? I mean, if they don't do their job, then why you fire the coach for, right? So that's another thing, I see. And also, competition gets weaker, like competition was much more, intense back then than, and now, in this modern NBA, like all the players just want to be buddy, right? So yeah, they just want to form super team just to, win their easy way out. Ever since LeBron joins Miami, competition has been, died out, right? Teams just want to just, dominate NBA and just guarantee, who will win and stuff. Competition should be, very close, and should not be, spoiler alert, like just one super team just dominate, every single team in the NBA. And this is why, you got the super team, Golden State Warrior, dominates the NBA, right? So, yeah, let me think of another possible reason, like why the NBA now sucks, right? So, yeah, especially, LeBron James, been ruining the league, get into politics, There are players and coaches, like some deserve positions and some did not deserve his position. And the Lakers has been obviously been the biggest laughingstock. Now LeBron has to fire Darvin Ham because, of Bronny, right? Because, I know he's gonna bench Bronny and he go playing time stuff, but they keep saying that Darvin Ham's a garbage coach, Darvin Ham can do this and that, but it's LeBron James that's causing the real toxic problem. And then, they have to hire Jay Redick, the podcast, or, another clown, that has no coaching experience. That is new coach, right? Now you hire this, bunch of just nobody, just a friend, of LeBron James, and yeah, that's another thing. Players just have too much control, just because of their money and, their status, right? To the real NBA fan, that doesn't matter, right? They just want to see, like, how much you perform and the way, you carry yourself, right? So, yeah, I could see that as a problem. So, boy, man. Boy, oh boy. Well, hopefully, Victor Wembanyama, change for the future and also, NBAs are now going a lot smaller instead of, going to their size, right? And I hope Victor Wembanyama, change this league, right? Yeah, the size matter a lot, when it comes to basketball. This is how, a lot of team win championship, not like hiring, a bunch of, midgets and guards, They just want us. They just care about scoring, score, all the time, right? Not playing intensive defense, right? Yeah, because when teams score like crazy, this is how your blowouts, happen so often, man. Right? I've been paying attention real carefully, of blowouts, right? I've been paying attention. I remember that before I was born, there was no 60-point blowouts, right? Because the NBA is just too damn soft. Now the blowout got as many as like 70 points, right? It never surpasses 60. Like even the largest league did not surpass 60 for whatever reason it is. For 20 long years, and then when the league is softer, then blowouts happen, a lot more frequently on the daily basis, right? 20-point, 30-point blowouts happen more often than they did in past. And I know that 50-point blowouts are rare, but now, like it can happen, monthly, even though there's a tons of game going on, there's like 30 teams. I heard in more future, like there'll be a lot more teams, but hopefully, like we just need real professionals, and not these little kids, or little childish, professional players just running around, talking down on us, on social media, right? Yeah, this era is totally exposed. And it is exposed, right? I just totally exposed the era. Everybody is just talking about this on YouTube, right? It's not just me. You have to watch other channel, I may miss out a few things. You just comment below, right? I mean, these are things that I pointed out, right? So, oh yeah, and also the owner too. And I say that the NBA owners has gone worse too as well. So, yeah, there's a lot of NBA owners that I do not respect, right? Comparing to the past, but I don't know if the owner were past, were much more nicer comparing, to this owner, highly jealous and just, sell wolf tickets, right? When you sell wolf tickets, they don't care about the fans. Honestly, they don't care, they only care about making money themselves. All the owners want and players want, they just here for the love of, money, not for the love of the game, right? So, yeah, and that's a big issue right there, right? There's racist owner and all stuff, and when Adam Silver has to punish them, like, he gave them, a soft punishment, right? I remember, Donald Sterling or something. I remember in 2014. I don't know if David Stern was retired or not, but I remember Dave Stern left the NBA as a commissioner in 2014. Adam Silver did, punish him, did rightfully, but then, Robert Sarver got punished for $10 million, and I feel like the punishment of the NBA is not very harsh, right? On the owners, or players or whatever that is, right? Sometimes they give, these, punishment like very, very minor, and you're supposed to punish the owner, by fining them and, force them to sell the team, right? And the way Alan speak, it's like, it's not professional at all. So, yeah, just the way, it was been run, the way, like how they treat these people, right? So, the way your owners been treating, players and coaches, the way they did them dirty. I say that most coaches did not deserve to be fired. It's the goddamn players. Your fault they don't want to take accountability, right? Seems unfair, right? And then, some players, some other player, that doesn't deserve to be criticism, they get blackballed, or coaches get blackballed, like Mark Jackson, It's just too much politics and too much, issues going all around the NBA, right? So, yeah, and some people do not like this at all, right? And just by hearing this, just based on my judgment, I don't like this at all, right? I will imagine if this happens to my family or my friends or, close ones, that I really care for, right? So, I would imagine, if this happens to you, right? And you wouldn't like it either, right? So, yeah, it's just to think about it, man. I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is gonna fix anytime soon, but hopefully it will fix in the future, you know. Things will die down a little bit, then it'll go up and down. That's just part of life, right? So hopefully you like this, you know, video, you know. And peace out. And hopefully this, if people like this video, or whether people like or dislike this video, if more people like and dislike, that means this video was helpful, you know. And this is like me speaking as a real, you know, NBA fans, right? And the NBA fans will probably, you know, most of them, I say, would agree with me, right? That this problem needs to be addressed and has to be fixed, right? And at some point, people just cannot ignore this, right? So, yeah. Peace out.